You're on the Players platform, where student athletes share their experiences with name, image, and likeness. Listen in for tips and tricks so you too can leverage and monetize your NIL. Here are your hosts, Business of College Sports founder Kristi Dosh and Duke University track and field and cross-country athlete Emily Cole, author of The Players Plate.
Hello, everyone. This is Emily Cole on the Players platform. Welcome to the show, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Kristi Dosh. Hi, Kristi.
Hi, Emily. So glad to be back again for another episode of the Players platform. And today we have a mutual friend on, Anna Camden. She's a women's basketball player at Penn State. Actually, one of the very first student athletes I ever talked to about NIL, because she was on it from day one, as you guys are going to hear in this interview. Anna was ready for NIL. She was proactively reaching out to people on day one, and she has been killing it ever since. So I can't wait for you guys to hear about all the cool stuff she's done and all the great advice she has for other student athletes. So without further ado, here is our interview with Anna Camden. Anna, welcome to the Players platform. We're so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We all three got to meet in Atlanta this past summer at the NIL Summit. And so we're old friends now.
Pretty much.
It's like the Three Musketeers.
And if you guys aren't watching on video, we've all got the long blonde hair going.
Yeah. Like, actually, it's so funny. Like straight across, it's like boom,
I know.
Boom.
Well, so Anna is a women's basketball player at Penn State, and I actually got to talk to Anna quite a few times before we even went to NIL Summit. And so you're somebody that I know was thinking about NIL from the very beginning when the new rules went into place in July of 2021, because I think I was talking to you by that fall. What was your plan going in? How were you hoping NIL was going to benefit you?
Yeah. So honestly, when I first started on social media, like NIL had never even crossed my mind. I didn't really even understand what that would encompass and how I could profit from that. But as my social media grew, people began to kind of bring it up. Like, oh, you could make money off this one day. Like, what are your thoughts about NIL? And I was like, let me figure out what the heck they're talking about. And so I started to do my own research, and, then things started coming out, and it looked like it was going to be passed. And so I definitely started taking the social media a little more seriously, being, more strategic about my content and timing of what I post and the things that I posted. And so when the laws were passed, like I was ready to go. I knew like partners that are brands that I might want to partner with. And I was just like really excited for any opportunities that were going to come my way.
That's so awesome. I feel like, especially being in basketball, that's like a particular sport where brands are really like apt to want to work with you and be able to, have that initiative start from the very beginning, day one, whenever NIL started. So I guess in your experience with the new laws coming out, how has it changed since like day one? Like your opinion of NIL and also your experiences?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think my opinion personally, I think I've become so much more educated on the matter. And when I say that, I mean in terms of like, I've become so much more business savvy. I feel much more confident when I'm talking to brands and companies. I know a lot more what I'm worth versus what I thought I was worth a little over a year ago. And so I'm definitely proud of the growth there. And then in terms of like the whole world, I think athletes are realizing that you don't just have to be like a star in your sport to profit off of NIL. And so we see like people branching out in different ways, like Emily, your book, like that's not, you're obviously a star on top of that.
Thank you.
We see like, athletes capitalizing off of this in ways that aren't just, hey, I'm really good and I score a lot of points and you should buy this, pizza. That is my favorite pizza.
Yeah.
People are doing different things, whether it's starting their own companies, writing books, starting their own clothing brands, things like that. And I think that's amazing. And then like also the camp side of things, I think athletes doing camps and then giving back and stuff is like a really amazing side to watch people growing.
Speaking of which, why don't you tell us about your camp and the cause you got to support through that?
Yeah, I didn't even mean to like segue into
that.
No,
it was
perfect. Yeah, so I had Camp Camden in September, and basically it was a local camp in State College. I go to Penn State, so it was, right in the community that I've been in for the past 3 years. And it was a one-day camp. We had about 50 some girls show up, and 100% of our proceeds went to a charity of my choice, which I picked the YMCA's anti-hunger program in State College. My team had worked with them before, packing backpacks and stuff for kids that don't like get enough food. They can take a backpack and just fill it with food and bring it home to their families. So all of our money went there. We raised, I believe the total was over $2,500 that all got donated to the YMCA, which was like super cool. And we made the camp like itself super affordable. It was $20 if you're a YMCA member and $30 if you're not. So like, I mean, that was a very affordable price. And then we donated everything we got. So it was an incredible experience.
And I know a lot of student athletes have had questions about doing camps and clinics or even one-on-one coaching. How did you figure out how to put all that together? I mean, it sounds like you maybe had some help from others as well. What did that look like? And is there anything that you would want people to know that maybe they wouldn't think about in terms of the stuff you've got to have in line to put on a successful camp?
Yeah, so I definitely had help. I am working with an agency called Limitless. And basically like a month before the camp, I gave them no time. I was like, guys, I want to have a camp before my season starts. And we have basically a month to do that. I was like, make it happen. And my agency's amazing. And they worked really hard to help get that off the ground. And like for a month straight, I was on the phone like 4 times a day just in camp conversations. And we were just like trying to get it up. So, but they really helped in terms of the logistics. Like I got to worry about the creative side, which is what I'm good at in terms of like what we were going to do, certain prizes, like designs of things, flyers, stuff like that. And then they got to like, they found a place for the camp. They found sponsors that, supplied the t-shirts, things like that. Which was like, thank God, because I did not want to have to deal with that. And so like, I think the biggest pro that like, if they hadn't been helping me, I wouldn't have thought about was like, we got a sponsor to just literally give us all the t-shirts, and every player, and every coach got a Camp Camden shirt. And like we didn't have to pay a dime for that. The charity didn't have to pay a dime for that. It just kind of happened. And it was like literally an amazing just perk to be able to give that out to all the campers. And then I would say the other part was like, shout out to the relationships that I had built with brands before the camp, because I brought in those brands as sponsors as well. So for example, Moolah Kicks is a shoe made for women's basketball players. It's the first shoe of that kind that was actually designed for a female's foot, which like didn't exist before that. And the fact that that didn't exist is like crazy because we don't even think about those things. But so Moolah supplied 3 pairs of free shoes for prize winners. And then I also brought in Roots Natural Kitchen, which I've worked with for over a year now, pretty much since the beginning of NIL. And they supplied bowls for all of the campers after the camp, and just like kind of came in. So like, it was so cool to like bring in, like, I guess my advice or like whatever would be to utilize the relationships that you already have and just bring it all together.
Anna, did I tell you that when I was in Virginia, I went to Roots, and the girl who runs their social media like was there, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, Emily, is that you?" And then we were like hyping you up. We're like, "Oh my gosh, we love Anna, blah, blah, blah." We like took a picture and she posted it on her Instagram. But I love that place. It's so good.
It's so good. And it's so like on brand. So it was on brand for me because I am like a huge advocate of fueling your body. And I know you are too, Emily, like just being an athlete, you have to like feed yourself the right things. But then vice versa, like my event donating everything to an anti-hunger program was like so on brand for Roots to be a part of as well. So it just like worked perfectly.
Was Roots who you worked with for your Camden Bowl?
Yes. So that was last spring. They have like seasonal bowls every semester. And so basically once I had kind of built a relationship with them and I had worked with them for the fall semester, I basically pitched the Camden Bowl to them. I gave them examples of other restaurants in the area and in the country that had done like athlete or celebrity named menu items. And I basically was like, I think that you guys should, like, I pitched a Camden Bowl, and it was like my favorite order. And I kind of like laid out a game plan of how it would look. And I was able to do that because I, number one, built the relationship. Number two, like I had leverage being that my like code and my name had like proven to be like very valuable in comparison to other athletes they'd been working with. And so I was able to be like, okay, let's like take a step further. And so they ended up throwing me like a whole launch party, which was so cool. And
that is so fun.
It was like, I was like, you guys are amazing. Like, this was not part of my pitch, but they brought their whole team in, like CEO, Larissa, social media, like everyone came in. Tuesday College, we had like a whole merch stand out. We had like a little basketball hoop, and like my whole team came, and it's like this little like Camden launch party, and it was so cool.
Wait, that is sick. Oh my God. I'm so glad that they got to do that for you too, because it is special. That is really cool.
Yeah, that's like definitely like it feels like a family like brand relationship.
Wow, yeah. That's exactly how I felt too whenever I met them.
Yeah, they're very genuine. Mm-hmm. And that's like, honestly, that's one for me that like I'll be like completely transparent. I don't even like with rates there. I do not like my rates. What I work with them with is like way lower than my normal rates because I like respect and care so much about what they're doing. And I understand that they're also building their own company and it's like a different dynamic. And so like, because of the
you genuinely want to support them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
How did that relationship start? Like, was that someplace that you already went to eat a lot? And did you approach them first? Like, how did that begin?
So I had already like loved Roots. Like I'd eaten there on campus a bunch the past couple of years. And so when the first day of NIL, this is so embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
I like DM'd.
She's on it.
I like DM'd like 30 Instagram accounts. And like that ranged from like Roots Natural Kitchen to like freaking Maybelline, like makeup company. Like I was going from like the biggest companies to like the littlest companies, and I was just pitching my name out there. And Roots came back and they were like, "Hey, we're actually not ready yet for anything NIL related, like most of the country wasn't. But we'll reach back out if we are." And so a month later, they emailed me, and 6 months later, my name was on their menu. So it was pretty cool.
What a cool progression. Oh my gosh. So besides that deal, because obviously that was so fun, what has been your favorite NIL deal that you've gotten to do over your time at Penn State?
Oh man, that's really tough. I think like favorite would be defined in different ways, like most fun to film, most exciting, like actual name of the collab type things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like most fun to film for me have typically been the Moolah Kicks ones because like they're basketball oriented and it's just so on brand to be like female empowerment and basketball content. And all of my followers are like the demographic for Moolah Kicks, which is like high school, middle school girls. So those are really fun to film. And then like things like Urban Outfitters, that was like just fun because it was like Urban Outfitters. Like I already have like.
Also, you look so good in those pictures. You went off.
Thank you. Like I already literally owned their clothes. I was like, this is like
no, it's perfect.
It's so I mean, it varies. I have lots of different favorites.
And I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was one of the ones off of one of the apps that you can get deals from. Can you talk a little bit about which apps you use and how like you would recommend athletes who maybe don't have an agent or are really trying to start building these brand relationships and start doing deals, how the apps can help them kind of break into the space?
Yeah. So the two that I have like my name on are like where brands can reach out to me are Postgame and Open Doors.
Yep.
Urban Outfitters came through Postgame, which I honestly had signed up for like I almost forgot about it.
Yeah.
And they reached out to me about Urban Outfitters and I sent them to my agency.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can talk to them about this. Yeah. But then Open Doors, honestly, my favorite is probably Open Doors. I think that they're so like that app and platform is so easy to use and it's so professional and it's very easy to communicate with the brand and you get paid like directly. Like it's just really efficient. That's probably my favorite. And that's something that I don't even like send to my agency. Like I just do it myself because it's that easy. So Open Doors is a huge one I think you should be on. Yeah, I think those are the two I would say.
That's what I use too. Yeah, those are great recs.
Yeah.
I feel like you've been really proactive too in reaching out to brands and in talking about what you want. Like I think I remember seeing you do a TikTok where you were doing a get ready with me kind of thing. And you were talking about how you wished you had a skincare NIL deal. And then didn't somebody ship you a bunch of product?
Yeah. So I posted, like, I love makeup and skincare. I think I am more in the makeup era now. I don't get to wear it a lot, but it's just so fun to do. And I love watching tutorials and I like filming tutorials. And so I'll do that stuff, and like I'll mention every now and then, like, oh my gosh, like this would be so cool to work with this company, or somebody send me like, I think I said the quote was like, how do I become one of those influencers where you just get sent free products? But yeah, Drunk Elephant sent me, I'm now on their PR list, and so they send me some skincare. I had this huge,
so cool.
like literal cooler from them in a PR package with a bunch of skincare in it.
Oh yeah, I remember you posting a video of that. That was so cool.
Yeah, so it's like, you just got to put yourself out there. You never know what's going to happen.
It's true. I just posted the other day. I've been doing this internship program with a school where I get an intern they're on quarters every quarter for my business at college sports site. And I was partnering with another media entity and we were sort of splitting it. And so it was an expense I could afford because of the way we were splitting it. And then they decided not to do it anymore. And I was trying to figure out, like, was there any way I could afford to do it on my own? And sort of the answer was no. But I interviewed this student that I loved. And it turned out she was a female student athlete and she's a journalism major. And I got off the phone with her and I was like, I have got to figure out a way to hire her. Like, even if it comes out of like my money, I have to hire this girl and reduce my salary to hire her if that's what it takes. And then I got to thinking about NIL and like how many companies and brands have said that they want to support female athletes and that they want to help athletes with micro internships and career planning and all that kind of stuff. And so I just tweeted out and I put on LinkedIn that I was looking for a sponsor, somebody that would sponsor this internship for this female student athlete on my site. I put that up, 4 or 5 days ago, and I've had 8 companies reach out to me who want to like have conversations about it. And so I'm a big believer in like, put out into the universe what you want. Like, people can't give it to you if they don't know you're looking for it. So like you said, you were looking for the skincare, and I've seen other athletes put out kind of what they're looking for in an NIL deal or a specific brand they want to work with, and they tag them or whatever. And like, it works, people. It's not going to work every
really
time.
does.
It's not 100%, but it works. So I love that you do that.
Kristi, that's like such a cool thing. Like, and also for that female that you're going to be potentially getting an internship for, like, that's so cool. It's 100% retweet.
So I guess now that you've built such a big platform on both Instagram and on TikTok, what has been one of the like defining lessons that you've learned and kind of helping you decide how you want to shape the content that you're putting out there? I think that's something that a lot of younger athletes are really trying to figure out, is like how to figure out what their brand is and the kind of content they want to put out, and get a little overwhelmed about all the different options.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a big part of people, like, where the heck do I start? Like, I could post about so many things. And I think my answer is gonna start with the fact that I have an amazing community of role models around me who have helped shape my core values and turn me into the woman that I am now. And core values are what determine how I act on the internet, how I act in my life, and ultimately what content I post. So once you determine like who you want to be, what you want to stand for, and things that are like authentic to you as a human being, that's what you post, right? Like, when I first started posting about, like, for example, the makeup and skincare, since we've talked about that was like brand new to my content. I hadn't posted that yet. And I was very nervous because I was like, I don't want people to unfollow me because they just want to see basketball footage. But like, that was something that I loved and I was really excited about. And now I do get ready with me's all the time and people like them. So I think you just have to stick to what you believe and what you are like interested in yourself. And then you can't stray from that. And you have to be prepared for the backlash that might come if people don't like what you're posting. Another thing for me is my faith. Like, my faith is the foundation of my life. It's literally the basis of everything that I do. I got baptized a week ago today, actually. Woo-hoo.
I saw that. Congratulations. That was so cool.
Thank you so much. And that's like a huge part of what I post. I talk about my faith, but I also make sure that what I'm posting is aligned with what I believe about my God and what I believe that how I should act as a human being. So I don't know if that answers your question, but like, to sum it all up, authenticity.
No, it definitely does.
Be true to yourself.
Yeah. I love it.
One thing, student athletes bring up all the time is trying to find the time to create content. And I feel like you do a really nice job because a lot of yours, I watch your stuff all the time. It's either you're getting ready, so like you were going to be doing that anyway, and you're just talking to the camera while you're doing it, or you're in the locker room or the training facility. Like I see a lot where you're with your teammates and you're doing it before and after practice. How do you make time for it and stay on such a consistent posting schedule?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I think one of the best things that we learn as athletes is our time management. Like just, you learn that from the second you step foot on campus because you're balancing so many things. And I think adding social media and content creation to that was just that. It was just adding another thing to my schedule. And so that's what I do. I add it to my schedule. I plan ahead. I map out like good opportunities for content. I've gotten a lot better at that. It took me some time to like actually be like, okay, for this football game, I'm going to have these 3 transitions ready to film, or I'm going to vlog this day because I think it's going to be a fun day for my followers to see, or like anything in between. So I think I've gotten a lot better at planning things out, and it has helped me so much not be stressed about like, oh my gosh, wait, this is really cool. I should probably film something right now. You know what I mean? So and it's like less stressful. And I'm a planner type of girl. Like I have my week planned out at the start of the week, like at least by Sunday, and I have everything mapped out, written down. And so that's just how I operate, and it helps me a lot.
That's so helpful, especially for like, I don't know, having the specific thing you mentioned about like having like 3 transition ideas for like a specific game. It's just nice when you spend the time beforehand to figure out what you're going to do. And especially if like athletes are trying to do collabs, or even if you're not an athlete, anyone trying to do a collab, the worst thing is when you like get together and you're both like, okay, so what do you want to do? What are we going to do? And then you spend like an hour trying to figure out what video you want to make together. It's like, no, you don't want to waste time doing that. So you can make sure to like just plan a little bit of time. It doesn't have to be that much, but just like, I don't know, 10 to 20 minutes the day before. It'll help everything go smoother the next day because you won't be stressed out about it.
Yeah, 100%.
You guys both have much bigger followings than I have. So like your advice is far more useful than mine is, but I'm a planner like Anna, and I can't just like, I'll find myself with time and be like, right now, like I could be doing something, but I have no idea what to film. And so on TikTok in particular, I started, as I save other people's as like ideas, then, you can create like different collections. And so I've labeled them different things. Like I have one that's 2 or more people. Like if I'm with a group, then I can just like go into that collection and see all the ideas that were multiple people. Or I had one, I just did it at a game recently where I had been saving college football season ideas into a collection. And I was at Texas A&M and I just went into that and I looked at like all the ideas and I was like, okay, I'm going to do enough like filming today to do this one and this one. And I can like use them after I leave Texas A&M. But like while I'm here with a football field and a crowd, like here's the shots I want to get to be able to pull these things off. Yeah. So like saving them into collections that are like themed has really helped me, but I'm kind of anal that way.
No, that's like actually brilliant, and I will be stealing that. Like that is my new tactic.
Yeah.
I save things, and then I have like a million things in my favorites.
Yeah.
Like, which one was I gonna do? So that's literally brilliant, and I'm gonna use that now.
I also feel like I've used that a lot on Instagram. I feel like a lot of the ones I save on Instagram is like half of them are ideas for me, and then the other half are like recipes. It's like there's no in between. Like I just see something that looks delicious. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make that, and then I never make it.
That's so funny.
So I think one of the coolest parts about NIL are the relationships that you get to build. So I guess can you talk a little bit about how these new laws have helped you connect with other athletes and build relationships, and then any recommendations you have for athletes that are just starting in their career to make sure that they make the most of this time?
Oh my gosh. NIL has like changed my life, not even from just like working with brands, monetary way, but just the people that I've met and then the things that I've learned from those people has just been exceptional. I mean, starting from the NIL Summit to now working with the Meta Empowerment program, like just getting to meet so many incredibly talented and wise individuals, from different athletes to agents to brands to life coaches. Like it's been such a blessing to just soak in all the knowledge. And that would be my advice to people, like soak in the knowledge. Do not let any opportunity pass you by where you do not ask a question, you do not get a contact, or you don't just like ask someone's opinion on something. Because I think that has like it has just proven to benefit me so much. And a prime example of that would be through the Meta program, I met Pat Curran, and he, like, I had a call with him, and he just he's really much into the sports world, and like he talks a lot about all sports things on his socials, and that's something I want to do. I want to work in sports broadcasting. And so I had a call with him, and I reached out to him. I was just like, hey, like, can we set up a call? I'd love to talk about this. And he recommended that I start posting things like analyzing sports or analyzing moments in sports, and just occasionally get that out to my feed, because one day an employer is going to see that and be like, oh, wow, she really knows what she's talking about. So fast forward, like, literally 2 weeks after that, not even, he had posted this like stitch with Richard Jefferson on NBA Today, that Richard Jefferson had posted, hey, like, you guys should, or stitch this with a hot take and we'll get you on NBA Today. Pat had reposted that. So I saw it from following Pat and having that conversation with him. I stitched it. I gave my hot take. 2 days later, I was literally on NBA Today on the TV. And like,
I saw that.
That was like my ESPN debut. And like, that would have never happened if I hadn't made that connection with Pat and had him given me advice and stuff. So shout out to him, first of all, but second of all, reach out, take people's advice, and like, just don't let any opportunity pass you by to like gain some knowledge.
That's so awesome. I remember seeing the videos too. You did such a good job documenting it too, of being like your team getting to see like your ESPN debut. I was like, yes, Anna.
It was so funny because I was in a meeting with my coach, and that meeting was like an hour and a half. It was like a captain's meeting type thing. And we came out and all of my assistant coaches were like, Anna, you were on ESPN. Like, we have the video. And so they like put it back on the main TV, and we rewatched it back. And I was like, it was so cool.
That's amazing.
Oh, I love it. You've gotten to do so much already, I feel like, with NIL, and used it in so many different ways, like doing social media promos and camp, and you had your Camden Bowl, and, you know, now you're leveraging it not to get paid, but to end up on ESPN. Is there anything you haven't done with NIL yet that's like still on your wish list?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I think... it's hard to pick. I think I want to do bigger Camp Camdens, and I want to continue those camps being something that give back, like donating everything that I make there. I want to do one with my brother. His name's John Camden. He plays basketball at Virginia Tech, and we've always dreamed about doing a Camp Camden together, co-ed girls and boys. And then honestly, like a bucket list thing for me, I know it's going to sound so stupid, but like, is like a brand trip. Like, I think it would be so cool to go on a brand trip. I see like influencers do it all the time, and I just like think that would be really cool. So I want to do that. And I think that I would love to see myself get even more into like charity and giving back, and, you know, not even just from the camp, but just like whether it's starting my own charity or nonprofit, or just really partnering with one that is important to me, and then raising a lot of money through that. So those are just a couple things.
I love it. So kind of, it's a perfect segue. On that note, at the end of every episode, we like to give the athletes that we interview the opportunity to kind of get on the metaphorical, the players' platform, and talk about a cause or company or something that they're just really passionate about and want to bring more awareness to. So I guess kind of your opportunity now to talk about anything that really you want the audience to be able to hear with your platform.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would say for me, like, everything comes back to my faith and my relationship with God. I think that the day I became the most confident and the most assertive and the most ambition was the day that I stopped getting my value from anywhere but God, whether that was previously boys or coaches or fans or social media likes and follows. Like, the second that I just like let myself and all of my worth come from God's love for me and his grace and forgiveness for me, my world changed. And I'm living proof of, I think, the prosperity that comes when you can just accept his love and not require it from anywhere else. And I think as an athlete, that can be so hard because all of our value and all of our self-worth comes from how well we can perform. And at least I know that's how I was for the longest time. And I'm still every day fighting that battle and trying to separate my brain from just identifying as only a hooper. And my faith has been something that has been so incredibly helpful in grounding my mind and reminding myself that it is a game. And yes, you love it. And yes, you've poured 22 years into it, but it is a game and the ball will stop bouncing, but your relationship with God never will.
So beautiful. And it's so applicable to, I know, like everyone listening to as athletes, it's so hard to be able to do that, even though like we all know it and we all want to be able to find our identity in something else. And I think that having that faith, I know it's helped me too, just really be able to delineate those two things and be like, no, I am a human being and I am not defined by my sport or my performance, things like that. So
yeah, amen.
And your confidence and your positive attitude like really come across in all your social content. Like every time I see something of yours, I stop and watch it because you're fun to watch, because you're always in a good mood. You always have like a positive outlook, even if like you're kind of having a down day, like you always talk about, you sort of frame it and put it in perspective. And so I just really enjoy watching your content and know that you probably inspire a lot of younger athletes too. And I always really enjoy your content. I feel like I've gotten to know you so well over the past year and feel so lucky that my job puts me in a position to meet people like you and Emily. At the end of every episode, we like to do a little round of rapid fire so that people can learn more about you. Are you game for that?
Okay. 100%.
It's nothing bad.
And first of all, that was the sweetest thing ever. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. A little rapid fire. Do you drink tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Where is your hometown?
Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
What is your favorite class that you're taking right now this semester?
Com 465. It's a TV reporting class.
Ooh, cool. What is the most recent series you've binge watched?
Oh gosh, I literally have not watched. Okay, Kardashians, because I barely watch any TV. Kardashians, that's so embarrassing, but it's like 9 minutes relaxing. So
that's so funny.
Do you have a song or an artist or a style of music that you like to listen to get pumped up right before a game?
Ooh, this is not a normal answer, but I have to listen to like some sort of worship before a game just to get my head in the right space. And then once we're on the court, it's like I'll listen to literally anything: rap, throwback, hip hop. I can make anything work.
Okay. And then last but not least, what is your favorite dessert?
Oh my gosh, that's cruel to ask me to pick. I have the biggest sweet tooth known to mankind, but if I had to pick, I'm going with chocolate chip cookie, double chocolate chip cookie.
Oh my gosh, yum.
I think from watching you on social, you love crumble cookies, right?
Yeah. I do love crumble cookies, and they just opened in State College, so I'm very excited about that.
Next NIL deal.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something in the works. I'm not going to lie. Stay tuned.
I love it.
Anna, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing so much from your NIL journey. I know I have really enjoyed following you, and if people aren't following you already, we will make sure that your social media channels are in the show notes so they can give you a follow. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.